Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Yeah, I don't even know. You already know who I am. I don't know. I think from now on I'm just not even going to do intros anymore. It just seems kind of tedious to do. But welcome to another episode. It's Wednesday, June 19th, and I'm recording this at 7:13 p.m. our time here in San Antonio. It is hot as fuck outside here in San Antonio. It is hot as balls. There was a news report that came out, I think, the day before, where I think it was actually this morning, where they advised us between 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. that the temperature was going to rise in the triple digits from, like, I think the hottest was going to be like 110. So naturally, around like maybe 1 or 12:40 something, I let my dogs in, just because I've been hearing reports that it's so fucking hot outside that dogs are literally burning their paws on the sidewalk, like it's that hot. So I don't want to take the chance on my dogs. Because our dog Sophie, she's the oldest. She'll be 13. So we're not going to take that chance of her getting a heat stroke. And then our other dog, Ellie, she's about to be 2 in September. Again, either way, whether they're older or younger, we're not going to take that chance. Right now it's 95, and it's 7 o'clock. Let me repeat that. 95 degrees, and it's 7 p.m. Jesus Christ. Let me look at the forecast for the next couple days. Tomorrow the hottest is going to be 99. Friday's going to be 95. I feel like I'm a weather caster or something. And it's weird because it goes through these weird spurts of like it's hot as fuck and then it rains for like the next 3 days, and then it gets hot as fuck again and then it rains again. The San Antonio weather for you, man. That's pretty much it here about what's going on here in San Antonio. Speaking of San Antonio, the NBA draft is tomorrow. I don't know if there's any sports. I know Tyler listens to the show. Tyler's a sports guy, but I don't know if Tyler really follows basketball that much. I know he's like a huge NFL guy and a huge football fan. But yeah, tomorrow's the NBA draft. I'm saying a lot. I'm sorry. It's a nervous habit. Sometimes I don't realize what I'm doing. But yeah, tomorrow's the NBA draft. I mean, the only thing I really care about is the Spurs. Naturally, I'm from San Antonio, so I'm a Spurs guy. They have 2 first-round picks tomorrow. They have the 19th pick and the 29th pick. They got the 29th pick from the trade with DeMar DeRozan and Kawhi. I think the deal in place for the draft pick was if the Raptors had a better record than the Spurs, or if they got to the playoffs. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the deal played out, but yeah, the Spurs have 2 first-round picks tomorrow. The rumor going around that's been going around, it's kind of died down a little bit, was that they were apparently looking to trade DeMar DeRozan. Which, honestly, that wouldn't bother me, because I like DeMar DeRozan. He seems like a nice guy, and he's not a terrible player. He's a very good player. Anyone in the NBA, if you're a professional athlete of any sort, you're a great player. I mean, as opposed to me who just sits on the couch and eats fucking hot Cheetos and says that guy fucking sucks. No, like, there's some players who are great and there's some players who aren't as great. For a regular Joe Schmo like me to just say, I think that guy sucks. It's a little hard. It's a little too much coming from a normie like me. Pretty much anyone in the NBA is a great player. It's just that some aren't as good as others. But anyways, yeah, DeMar DeRozan, I wouldn't be too heartbroken if they traded him because he's just not what the team needs. They need a scorer. They need a closer. DeMar, to his credit, has had a very good year with the Spurs. He has career highs in rebounding and assists. But he's just not a guy I trust in big moments. Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless is a Spurs guy, which that needs to be revoked. He says DeMar's a closer, which I think he's just saying that out of spite to Kawhi. DeMar's not a closer. I have watched games with DeMar where, the ball's in his hands and there's like 5 seconds left. He can't close a game. He can't hit the big shot. That's just what I've seen. What I liked out of the Spurs this year, the opportunities given to the younger up-and-coming players like Derek White, who he had that one big game against Denver in Game 3. Well, he actually had a good first game, and then Game 3 was his monster game, and then afterwards he kind of disappeared. Again, I'm not going to shit on him for that because it's his first playoff series, because last year was his first official year as a rookie. This year was his sophomore year. So this is actually like his first big year that he got to start. So I'm not going to fault him for that. If this becomes a continuous thing, then I will fault him for that. Bryn Forbes, this is his coming out party. I shit on the guy in the beginning of the season. I thought in my head, this is a guy they need to trade. I don't like him. I don't like the way he shoots. Then I did a complete 180. I just thought, I like the way this guy shoots. I like his shooting form. I like his toughness. In Game 7, he carried the team. I mean, granted, they lost. But, they were losing by a lot. And it could have been a lot worse, but he was literally carrying the team, him and Rudy Gay. Another guy I like. And I didn't think he would be, the type of guy he was for the team. But he was. The guy can score. The guy can play defense. And he was literally carrying the team on his back in Game 7. LaMarcus, I think he's just going to retire with the team, or he might even just leave and retire with Portland. As far as who they draft, I don't know who they draft. I don't really know who anyone is anymore in college. Not that I was really this, big-time, connoisseur of, college basketball, but, when it came, I don't know, back in the day, you kind of knew who everyone was. Nowadays, it just seems like everyone looks the same. Every athlete in college basketball, it just seems like they have the same look. They have that Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, etched up hairstyle. Or then there's guys without those long dreadlocks, which I hate those. Anytime I see a player with that type of hairstyle, I just immediately think to myself, they need to cut that shit immediately, because that's going to be a distraction when they play. And by distraction, I don't mean people are going to get distracted by their hair. More like, imagine trying to go up for a dunk and you have a hairstyle that looks like a fucking pineapple. It's going to mess up your dunking. Kind of like the Spurs guard, Lonnie Walker. He has a hairstyle like that. And me and my friend agreed that that's going to be a distraction. I was checking my mic just to make sure it wasn't muted. Who they draft, I don't know. I hope it's someone who can actually play right now, because the Spurs, they have this knack for drafting guys from Europe that won't be able to play for another 2 years because they signed a contract with was it FIBA or FIFA? They love drafting those fucking European players, and not that that's a bad thing, because that's always been their MO and it's always worked out for them. But it's I kind of want a guy that can play right now. I want a guy that can score. Draft a guy that can score and that can play defense and, take the edge off of DeMar. If they end up keeping DeMar, which I think they will. And the Spurs never really make any trades. I mean, except for the DeMar and Kawhi trade, but that was something that they kind of were forced their hand to do. But just, I don't know, draft a guy who can score. Or if you can, try and sign a big name, which they probably won't. I think at this point, the Spurs are kind of in rebuilding mode slowly. Pretty soon, the team's going to become pretty much like a lottery team. Which, again, that's something we kind of have to prepare for. You can't be good. You can't be great every year. I just saw some stats that blew my mind. For 22 years, the Spurs have not missed the playoffs. They have not missed a single playoff game for 22 years. You want to know which team has the second longest streak? The Golden State Warriors. For 7 years. So, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Warriors that everyone seems to like now, that just became great, the Bulls, all great teams, they haven't had that type of streak that the Spurs had. So, what does that tell you? What does that tell you about the team? That they're well coached, that they're well run. I'm probably being biased because they're my favorite team, but that's just the facts that they're the most respected, most classiest organization in sports. Other than the Kawhi thing, you don't really hear a bad thing about them. They're well coached. They have great players. They have great role players. They're a team that they don't rely on their stars to always carry the load because their role players are always going to carry the load. So there's that. I forgot what else I was going to say. Yeah, they haven't missed the playoffs for 22 years, but again, I have a feeling pretty soon that they're probably going to miss their first playoff series. They're probably going to be a lottery team. It's something that, us Spurs fans are going to have to prepare for. Because since 1997, when we got Tim Duncan, and then in 2001, when we got Tony Parker, 99 is when they drafted Manu, but he didn't come until 2002. For 2 decades, we've been spoiled by Tim Duncan and Manu and Tony Parker. We've been spoiled because we see those guys and we go automatic, championship contender. They're going to take us deep into the playoffs, or they're going to go deep into the playoffs. Now, we're not so sure about this team now. We have good, we have a good young core of players. We have, up and coming stars, but we don't really have stars. We don't have guys that can close out a game. And I like LaMarcus, but he's not a closer. He can get you big numbers, but when it comes to big moments, he, especially in the playoffs, he kind of tends to disappear. And I don't hate DeMar DeRozan. But again, he's not a guy that you can trust to be your guy to lead you to the promised land. Pretty soon, again, they're going to be a lottery team, and they'll probably end up drafting another Tim Duncan or another David Robinson. The Spurs have a way to kind of stumble upon an embarrassment of riches, if that makes sense, because they got David Robinson in the draft 1 year, and then literally 10 years later they end up getting Tim Duncan. It's just crazy. But I don't usually talk a lot of sports on here. I guess because there's not really going on in sports I can really talk about. At the moment. The NBA draft is tomorrow. The Pelicans are the number 1 pick. They're more likely to get that Zion kid, which I never watched. I've never watched him. I know a lot of people are crazy about him. Anthony Davis got traded to the Lakers. Didn't even care that the Pelicans got the number 1 pick. He wants to go to the Lakers. He wants to play on a big stage. He wants to actually leave a very. He cared more about his legacy than money, which that's respectable. But the way I see it with Anthony Davis, he's not a star. He's not a superstar. He's more of a complimentary star. He's more of a He's a role player. I mean, the reason why he's considered as the best, the best whatever in the league is because he was on a bad team for a very long time, and he looked good in comparison. I mean, yeah, he got the team to the playoffs twice, but that's about it. I mean, Kevin Garnett was with Minnesota for how long? For over a decade. Only got to the playoffs once, and then after that they didn't do shit. Goes to Boston with Ray Allen. Joins up with Paul Pierce. They win a championship, and that was Paul Pierce's team. Garnett was not the star of the team, and Garnett going with Boston kind of exposed him, not necessarily in a bad way, but it exposed him as, yeah, he's not a star. He's a role player. He and also, looking back on it, I sound a little too harsh on him. Looking back on it, I think it's because Garnett realized I don't need to do all the work here because I have other guys on this team that can pick up the slack. I have a guy in Paul Pierce who can close. He can close the game. He can be clutch. Ray Allen can hit those, those dagger threes. I have Rondo here who can play defense and distribute. All I gotta do is just do what I gotta do, but I don't have to do it all the time. I can play defense, I can score, but mainly I'm just going to be a defensive guy. And I think he won Defensive Player of the Year 1 year in Boston. So, and the same thing with Chris Bosh in Miami. Chris Bosh was a big fish in a small pond in Toronto. He goes to Miami, and he scored and played defense, but he realized he didn't have to do too much because you had LeBron and you had D. Wade. I just ate, so that food's coming back up. So, kind of the same thing with Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis was a big fish in a small pond with New Orleans. Now he's going to play in L.A. with LeBron. So, I don't know how his game's going to be because LeBron is 34. He's going to be 35 by the end of the year. Him and my brother are the same age, which is weird. And you can tell the age is kind of slowly setting in because for the first time since he's been in the league, he got hurt. I don't think LeBron's ever been hurt, but I suppose he's been playing with injuries, but this year he actually got hurt. So now that age is kicking in. You got Anthony Davis, who's 26. He's a young kid, but Anthony Davis tends to kind of get hurt a lot too. So I don't know how that team's going to work out. Maybe they'll be the best team in the West. Maybe they'll kind of barely make the playoffs. Maybe Anthony Davis lives to his reputation of being a guy who never stays 100% healthy. But I don't wish players to get hurt at all. I don't take pleasure in watching guys get hurt. It's like when Kevin Durant went down in Game 5. The Toronto crowd was actually cheering when he got hurt, and then the Toronto team, the Raptors and the Warriors, literally looked at the bench or looked at the crowd like, "What the hell are you doing? That's classless." My reaction when he got hurt was like, "Oh damn," and I was just like, "I hope he's all right." And I even if I'm not a fan of the player personally, I never take pleasure in when they get hurt, ever. To say that you're happy somebody got hurt, you're just an asshole. You're kind of being a sociopath. That's just me. But again, I'm not saying I want Anthony Davis to get hurt. I'm just saying the guy has a track record for not really staying healthy. So that's just my take on the current NBA product. I was able to watch Raw and SmackDown for the first time in a while. And that's not something I'm going to brag about, but I watched Raw on Hulu. I didn't get a chance to watch it on live on Monday because I was working late. So thank God I have Hulu. It came out the next day. I watched it. I was able to fast forward through certain parts, like the talkie. So after this week, I don't know why Seth Rollins is supposed to be a face. because he's literally just going around and beating up people with a steel chair who are supposedly affiliated with Baron Corbin. Because this Sunday, I'll get into predictions. This Sunday with Baron Corbin and Seth Rollins' match, Baron Corbin has the opportunity to choose his own referee. So at the beginning of the night, Elias opened up the show and said he was a special guest referee. And then Seth Rollins came out and attacked him with a steel chair. And then later on the night, it was EC3. Poor EC3. Seth Rollins just came out and beat the shit out of him with a chair. And then a backstage segment with Eric Young, who, rare sighting for Eric Young. Is talking at Baron Corbin, and he tells Baron Corbin, I'll think about it, and then Seth Rollins appears out of nowhere, and then Eric just goes, oh no, I just told him I think about it because I didn't want to talk to him. I'm not going to do it. Eric walks away, and then Seth just beats the shit out of him with a steel chair anyway. Oh, man. Nice guy, Seth Rollins, just beating up random people with steel chairs. And then on SmackDown, he did the same thing to the B team, who were just interviewing for the position and weren't actually going to take it. Which I'm surprised he didn't try to do it to Matt Hardy and Shelton Benjamin. I guess because they're faces. It would have been funny if he did it to the faces anyway, but I don't know. Other than that, how does that make Seth Rollins a face? It doesn't seem like something a face would do. So, I guess it's because they're heels, it makes sense. But, yeah, what do I know? What else happened on Raw? Shane McMahon holding a private VIP party for himself, Drew McIntyre, and the Revival, who are the new tag champions. Why is Shane getting so much television time? I mean, I don't know. You would think that they want Drew McIntyre to be a top guy on his own, but for some reason they're putting Shane out there and giving him all his television time. Shane, we've always said about Shane for the longest time. Shane is probably the least most hated McMahon out of the bunch because we can all agree that we hate Stephanie. Lately, we haven't even seen Stephanie, so she hasn't been on TV. Triple H only appears when there's a match. Vince only appears when I guess he has to. I think Linda doesn't really count because she hasn't really appeared. She hasn't really appeared that much on TV. I don't think she's appeared on TV since when she inducted Warrior into the Hall of Fame. That was 5 years ago. But Shane, ever since he came back to the company in 2016, he has constantly been on television. They have not given this guy a break, at all, and it's slowly pissing away sympathy, for him because he's being put in big, high-profile matches against other guys that you could easily give that to another, performer who needs it. I mean, look what they're trying to do with Lars. They're trying to make him into something, but they're putting him in squash matches against the Lucha Party, and yet they're giving Shane high-profile, main event matches. And then there's talk of them possibly putting the WWE Championship on him, which I wouldn't put it past them doing that. It's just something I don't want to see at all. I mean, granted, Shane as a heel works. He's not exactly bad as a heel. And, the whole program with him and Roman Reigns, for the first time, it's actually working in Roman's favor that he's being pinned against an actual heel that it seems like the crowd genuinely dislikes. It seems like the crowd actually genuinely dislikes Shane. They don't like him. They're not trying to like him out of spite because they hate Roman. It seems like they genuinely don't like Shane. It's not like when they pinned, Roman against. I'm trying to think of a heel. It's not like when it's like I don't know. I'm trying to think of a name. Or like when they had him against Triple H. People actually do like Triple H. You know, as shocking as it sounds to a lot of people who do hate Triple H, there are some people who do like Triple H. Because at the end of the day, Triple H is actually a wrestler. Or was actually a wrestler. Shane is not a wrestler. You know, Shane has had wrestling matches, but traditionally he is not a wrestler. He has not paid dues. You know, he's the way people look at him. He's, you know, daddy's little boy. He's born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and he got into the business because his dad was in the business, and he was able to weasel his way into wrestling matches. And granted, Shane has had a lot of big moments in wrestling. He's pulled off a lot of hardcore, as Matt Hardy would say, sports monkeys. But at the end of the day, Shane is not a wrestler. And he's also a McMahon. And the McMahons can't help themselves by throwing either themselves or somebody else in their family on TV. For the longest time, it was Triple H and Stephanie. Now it's Shane. You know, Shane is hogging up all that TV time. So I don't see where this ends. I seriously hope they don't put a title on him. Somebody tried to allude to that, Kofi Kingston might even drop the title to him, which I seriously hope not, because it's like, here's Kofi Kingston, who's, a sympathetic babyface that, the crowd genuinely likes. He's a likable guy. He's showing footage of him going to Ghana, meeting up with, the kids there, his family, even the king of Ghana. And then you're going to have him lose to Shane McMahon. I think people would ride in the streets of that. I don't think Shane would win. I honestly think, and I hope I'm right, probably by SummerSlam, Shane's going to be done. They're probably going to take him off TV. And by done, I don't mean like he'll be fired. More just like by SummerSlam he's going to be off TV. That's just my opinion. They'll more than likely bring him back for Mania because they want to put him in a Mania match because they can't help themselves. Shane needs to be in a Mania match, with somebody. But I have a feeling by SummerSlam he's done. What else happened on Raw? What's the main event on Raw? What the fuck was the main event on Raw? Oh yeah, the main event was Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins. Yeah, good match. Not a great match. Not a match that will knock my socks off. But it was a good match. If it has Daniel Bryan, it's gonna be a good match. It was just basically a way, to kind of put Seth over and into his match on Sunday, and then Seth won, by the way. After which Baron Corbin came out and paid Seth the payback he got for being beating everybody's senses with a steel chair. So he's done. Going back to the Shane McMahon segment. There was a bit where Heath Slater comes in and he asks Shane for a raise, and Shane says no. And I'm thinking in my head, wait, is Shane even in charge? Even storyline-wise? Shouldn't he be going to like Triple H or Vince? Anyways, no. So Shane tells him no. Heath walks out. Drew McIntyre walks out. Wants to pay him, and then he accidentally drops his money on the floor, and then when he's picking it up, Drew beats the fuck out of him. And then says, I don't give a damn about your kids. And then a rival comes out and takes all the money and, takes Drew back to the party, which I'm thinking in my head, why did Drew even attack Heath? It would have made more sense if Heath tried to cause a ruckus or something, and then Drew beats the fuck out of him. And no, Drew beats him up because he's the Scottish psychopath. So again, I don't know. Roman Reigns comes to the ring, cuts a promo, which I kind of fast forwarded through that. Then Drew gets on the mic, and Drew talks, Roman Reigns, is trying to talk to Shane, and he's talking shit to him, says, I'm going to beat your ass, yada, yada, yada. Drew gets on and, says, I'm going to beat you so bad you're going to go home to your wife and kids and tell them why daddy couldn't beat me or whatever. And And then Roman comes to the back, and he goes, to the VIP party, beats up the Revival. And then I think Corey Graves said a funny comment. It's like, it probably wasn't a smart idea to put your face on a plaque on a door to let people know you're there, especially when you're throwing a private party. Roman goes to the back, takes out Drew, throws him to the table, follows Shane to the ring, spears him, just beats the shit out of him, spears him, leaves him for dead, and that hypes up their match, Roman and Drew's match this Sunday. What else? Yeah, it was a very uneventful show, so I'm really trying to just think of what I remember. I fast forwarded through a Paul Heyman intro promo. I don't really care about Paul Heyman promos anymore. They don't really do anything for me the way they used to. They're just, I don't know, it just seems like he's saying the same thing in every promo. He's just out there sucking Brock Lesnar's cock and talking about how great he is, talking about he's the beast, he's the best, blah blah blah, he's the money in the bank, and he's gonna come out here and beat the fuck out of everybody, and then Brock Lesnar, and then watch the back. I don't care about Brock. I don't care about Paul anymore. I don't care about Paul with Brock anymore. I think if you put Paul with somebody else, it'd be interesting. I know Paul Heyman's, alluded to that he, kind of wants to manage other people. And I believe he's even a head of creative or part of creative. I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it's time to maybe put Paul with somebody else. Him with Brock just doesn't really do it for me anymore. He just says the same thing. Him and CM Punk were interesting because CM Punk could talk. Paul could talk, so could CM Punk, so that worked. So you had them kind of, going off one by one and doing their own promos. With Brock, he can't talk. Obviously, Brock has made it clear, don't ever put a microphone in my head. Like that was literally the story that he told, or who was it? It was Paul Heyman. He told the story that, Brock went out there and cut a promo that was so bad that he literally walked to the back with a microphone still in his hand, went to Vince and put it in his hand and said, "Do not ever put a microphone in my hand ever again." Call Paul Heyman, and it worked. I guess I was really raw in a nutshell. There was the Firefly Funhouse segment, which, again, it seems to be the only good thing about the show. I don't know where they're headed with this. It slowly looks like they might even just put him in the ring. I don't know against who. It'd be interesting if they put him against Aleister Black. Because you have two guys who kind of have similar gimmicks. But that'd be a very interesting match. But once you put them in the ring, I think the skits might even stop. Because you know how WWE is. They can't help themselves. They always got to find a way to fuck things up. Yeah, the segments, they're the only good thing about the show. I kind of wish they would go on a little bit longer. I kind of wish they would make this last until maybe SummerSlam. Or maybe, you know what? Don't even have Bray wrestle anymore. Just have it be a talk show segment. Kind of like the highlight reel with Jericho or the Cutting Edge. Like, what the fuck is this shit? I just had this weird update pop up on my computer. No, go away. Okay, whatever. Anyways. This thing will not get out of my way. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. This fucking thing just literally came out of nowhere. Hold on. Control-Alt-Delete. Okay, it's not even letting me delete this. You've got to be kidding me with this shit. Yes, I want to fucking cancel. Don't wait. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, Windows is just fucking weird. Yeah, like I was saying about, the Firefly Funhouse, Firefly Funhouse, it's something that they really should consider, maybe even making it just a regular old talk show. Obviously don't bring it out to the ring, but, bring in guests. That would be super interesting. I mean, can you imagine Kevin Owens being in the Firefly Funhouse? Like, I could just imagine his personality, and supposedly they're letting Bray do whatever the hell he wants on the show. Can you just imagine Kevin Owens being on that show? That would be too fucking funny. What's with the witch hanging up? I can't do a Kevin Owens accent. I can't do a Montreal accent, but can you just imagine him being like, why? Why do you have that? Why the hell do you have a witch outside your window? I realize that sounds kind of Irish rather than Montreal, but you get the gist. But that'd be funny. That'd be pretty cool. Or Sami Zayn, or put Aleister Black on the show. Like that'd be pretty fucking cool. And then they replay it on SmackDown, which I don't know. I kind of wish they wouldn't just replay it on SmackDown, like have new episodes. But again, you can't expect them to constantly make new ones, because that's asking for a lot of hard work. So the very next night on SmackDown opens with Kofi coming out, and then Dolph, which another guy, Dolph, that I would be okay if he never showed up in the company anymore. He's a guy that can really go out and give you a good match, but he gets no reaction. I mean, he was popular for like maybe 10 minutes at one point, and then he ended up getting hurt, and then everything just kind of fell apart for him. I don't know. I would. Why Dolph though? Why are you giving Dolph this shot against Kofi? Because here's one thing I've noticed about everything that Dolph is saying. He's like, it should have been me. It should have been me. And I'm just thinking in my head, this screams like something or a gimmick that you should have given to Mustafa Ali. Like I hear what Dolph is saying, and I'm thinking, wouldn't that make more sense coming out of Mustafa Ali? You know what I mean? Like, because if we all remember, if it wasn't for Mustafa Ali getting hurt, Kofi wouldn't even be here. Kofi wouldn't have been in that Elimination Chamber. He wouldn't have been in that gauntlet match leading up to the Elimination Chamber. This screams of something that Mustafa Ali should have been in. And it would have been better. It would have been better matches. I think the crowd would have really cared more. Because you're taking a guy like Ali, who's, a very sympathetic babyface, and you're giving him, this kind of, I wouldn't say a heel gimmick, because it would have made sense with him, because it would have made sense that he was pissed off. Like, that was my opportunity. I got hurt, and I blame the fans because I'm too busy showboating and doing all these, death-defying moves that I forgot about what matters, and that's me, and that's my career, and that's, me getting paid to support my family, to support my children, and, A, B, C, and D. This would have been a better program for Mustafa Ali. Mustafa Ali and Kofi, I think, would have been an awesome program. It would have been better matches, that's for sure. And can you imagine, the reaction Mustafa Ali would have gotten at Super Showdown? I mean, granted, he's from a different country, or he's a different, ethnicity, and they're in Saudi Arabia, but he still would have got a huge reaction. But yeah, just Dolph, for whatever reason, they love to give this fucker chances. I don't know why, but they just do. What else happened on SmackDown? What? Yeah. I don't know if you heard that. My girlfriend just said Dolph Ziggler's a bitch. Yep. Yeah, I have a feeling that's right. I don't know if this. I don't know what does this motherfucker have on somebody higher up? Does he have like nude photos of somebody? Like, does he have something hanging over somebody, which is why they keep giving this guy chances? I just don't get it. What else happened on the show? Nothing. Again, nothing really eventful happened on either show, so it's kind of hard to remember anything. You had Heavy Machinery come out and fight. I forget who. Oh yeah, the B team. And then you had Daniel Bryan and Rowan sit on commentary because they just announced this match. I didn't even know this was a match. It's Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery's gimmick is, they're supposed to be kind of like the lovable goof, comedy, tag team. Kind of like the Bushwhackers. And there's actually kind of a funny moment where, Corey Graves is saying, oh, their inspiration is, the Bushwhackers, and Daniel Bryan goes, did they ever actually win a tag championship? And Corey goes, not to my recollection. So, I mean, yeah, I get why Heavy Machinery is on the roster. You need... Every now and then you need a comedy act for the kids, because you're going to want the serious suplexes and submissions, catch-can wrestling tag team. And then you got the high aerial, flippy-dippy-doodah tag team. And you need a comedic act, for the kiddos. What's up?
We're going to leave in a little bit.
Where are you going?
To my cousin's.
For what? Oh, yeah. You're... Oh. Alright, have fun. And the puppies are almost out of dry food. Love you. Just saying bye to my girl. She's gonna go with her family. Alright, so where was I at? Yeah, Heavy Machinery. Yeah, they're not gonna win Sunday. Spoiler alert. A moment of bliss with Alexa and Bayley. A couple things I noticed. Alexa was kind of owning Bayley on the mic. We've all known Bayley. Her strong suit is not talking. And when we say people can't talk, it's not that they physically can't talk. It's just they don't have the personality to convey a really good promo. Alexa she has personality. She can go out there and cut a good promo. Bayley really can't because she kind of has that, that Southern California drawl to her. Like, hey, man, Alexa, that's not cool, man. Alexa, for the longest time, man, I was always good in NXT, man. I make her sound like she's Chong, like she's Tommy Chong or something. I don't think Bayley's ever said man, but I don't know. Alexa's very good on the mic. She was owning Bayley. She had that one nice little comeback at Bayley saying you peaked in NXT, which she's kind of right, but you can't blame Bayley because it's the company that kind of fucked her. Because ever since day one, since she got on the main roster, the company has not really thought of her as much. They don't see her as much. In NXT, Bayley was a fucking queen. She owned NXT. At one point she was even more over than the male talent. She was even more over than Finn Balor. But, again, the main roster, it all comes down to what makes Vince's dick hard. And he loves Charlotte, and I like Charlotte too. Charlotte is a great wrestler. She's probably the best, women's talent in the company, but Vince loves blondes. At the end of the day, Vince will love to put the title on a pair of big fake titties. Kind of like what they're doing with Lacey Evans, which I've already made my case about Lacey Evans. I don't hate her. If you find a video on her, talking as herself, she actually has a very good, she can actually cut a pretty good promo. You look at her background. She's actually a fucking killer. She was She was in SWAT. Not the show SWAT or the movie SWAT, but like a SWAT team. She was a Marine. She has confirmed kills as a Marine. She's a legit badass. She looks like someone that can legit beat the fuck out of you. Not just Bayley or Becky Lynch. She might even be strong enough to beat the fuck out of Ronda. But like me. Maybe not like Braun Strowman. I don't know, maybe. But she can probably definitely kill any of the 205 Live guys. There's no doubt about it. She looks like a fucking beast. but they're giving her this stupid fucking gimmick. This Southern Belle plantation owner gimmick. That who in the fuck in WWE creative thought that was a gimmick that could fit somebody, or that the young people are gonna be able to relate to. Because I don't think anyone's ever watched Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Like I don't if you weren't in theater class, you have no idea what this gimmick is supposed to be. And I would know because I was in theater class and I had to watch that. So, or if you weren't born in the 1930s, then you're not going to know what this fucking gimmick is. What the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, Bayley and Alexa. Alexa, not a great wrestler. A good promo talker and looks good in tight shorts. So that's the one thing I took away from that whole skit on A Moment of Bliss, is that Alexa owned Bayley on the mic. Number 2, Bayley's got a fat ass. Like a fat ass. I mean, yeah, she's Puerto Rican. So naturally, Latina girls gonna have big asses, but she has got a fat ass. Other than that, those are the only 2 things I took away from this skit. I'm sorry, I'm just getting distracted by Bayley's fat ass. But I'm a guy, deal with it. Other than Bayley's fat ass, what else happened on the show? Finn Balor wasn't on the show, which is weird. There was a backstage segment, I think I mentioned earlier, like Baron Corbin, who was apparently backstage but not on the show, which is weird. He was holding, I guess, interviews to see who would be his referee this Sunday. You had the B team waiting outside, then you had Shelton Benjamin, then you had Matt Hardy come on. Matt Hardy had a funny line where he looked at Shelton, Senor Benjamin, you're up next. And Shelton goes, it's Mr. Benjamin, even though that's kind of the same thing. Congratulations to Matt Hardy, by the way. Him and Rebby announced that they're going to have their 3rd child, which is great. Good for them. Well done. What else happened on the show? Nothing of note. What the fuck happened on the show? Oh yeah, the main event was Seth Rollins and Kofi versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It was a 2 out of 3 falls match, and Kofi and Seth won. Nice little match, nothing of note. And then, yeah, that's really what happened on Raw and SmackDown. There's really nothing. Again, nothing nothing that's that memorable. But I guess we can get into Stomping Grounds predictions. I'm going to pull up on my phone. All right. Stomping Grounds. This Sunday, June 23rd. Tacoma, Washington, at the Tacoma Dome. And I guess these aren't really the matches that are in order. I'm just going to go by 9. By 9 all the way back up to 1. Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. Daniel Bryan and Rowan. That's pretty much it. There's no way. I mean, this match is just here because, again, you need the comedic tag team. I mean, this shouldn't be a terrible match. With Daniel Bryan, it should be a fun match. Daniel Bryan did an interview with. Trying to remember who he did an interview with. I just fucking read it, and I should have shared it. Daniel Bryan. Are you kidding me? Okay. Daniel Bryan did an interview with... Come on. He was on the Jimmy Jacobs podcast to review the self-help book, The 5 a.m. Club. During the show, around the 45-minute mark, Bryan begins to talk about his life after wrestling. While he doesn't plan to retire anytime soon, he'll be done being a full-time wrestler sooner rather than later. End quote. That's the journey I'm on right now. I'm looking in a couple years when I'm no longer a full-time wrestler, said Bryan. I'll always wrestle a little bit because I love doing it. After my contract is up, I don't want to be a full-time wrestler anymore, so diving into climate change and other issues has been really important. Bryan explained that he wants to leave a positive impact on the world and that he'll continue to use his platform responsibly once he moves to wrestling part-time. However, he doesn't plan on leaving the sport at all. He just wants to wrestle. He wants to wrestle for the rest of his life. End quote. What was my end quote? I mean, that makes sense. I mean, how old is Daniel Bryan right now? He's 38. I don't know what his new contract is. I'm assuming it's maybe like 2 or 3 years. Maybe like 3 or 4 years. So by that time he'll be in his 40s. And he still has to deal with, getting checked up for, when he gets hit in the head or whatever. Matter of fact, I think after every match, he said after every match he has to get checked. Like, regardless of what happens, even if it's, like, minor. So, I mean, you don't want to keep doing this for the rest of your life. And like he said, he wants to focus on more important things rather than wrestling. He wants to focus on climate change. Kind of like what Mark Ruffalo and, like, Leo DiCaprio are doing. They're using their fame to kind of get their message across. Message across. Jesus fucking Christ. So, yeah, that's good for Daniel. Good for him. But yeah, Daniel Bryan will win this match. Triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa versus Drew Gulak. I don't watch 205, which I probably should watch 205 because I heard it's actually getting better. I was listening to Solomon's podcast from, I think, like last week, where he said the show is actually getting better. The show last week was actually very good. They just put what's his name, Chad Gable on it, which that's good. Good for him. So I don't know. I don't know who will win this. This might even be the best match of the night. I'm just assuming because usually the Cruiserweight matches knock it out of the park. I guess keep it on Nese. Again, I don't know enough about the product to really judge it. Next match, New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Since there's really no stakes in this match, I'm assuming Owens and Zayn will win. Like if the New Day had the tag titles, I would say the New Day would win. But since there's really nothing to gain in this match, like there's no championships or there's no championship, number one contender, opportunity. Give it to I guess Owens and Zayn will win. It makes sense. This will probably be a good match. It'll be a fun match. Samoa Joe versus Ricochet. Samoa Joe is going to win it. They're going to keep it on Joe for a while. I don't know how long. I don't know if they're going to want to continue him versus Ray, which I guess makes sense because you brought the Sun into the equation, so they're going to want to continue that. I don't know how long Ray's going to be out, but again, this should be a fun match. You got Ricochet, who's the spot guy, the flippy dippy guy, and then you got Samoa Joe, who's the submission specialist, the technical wrestler. So, yeah, Joe's gonna win. It'll probably be a short match, maybe like 9 or 10 minutes. Yeah, Ricochet I wouldn't say he got into trouble, but apparently he has a video out there of him fingering his little butthole. His tiny little Ricochet. I don't know how much to gauge from that because again, I think that's something that, and I haven't even seen the video yet. I have no interest in watching the video because I prefer my M&Ms without nuts, so I'm not going to be watching that shit. But I don't really think much of it because look what happened to Seth, a while back where he had dick pics that came up. Where he was sending, dick pics to another girl. Which is weird because he was engaged at the time to another girl, and then he was sending dick pics to another girl, and then he ended up dating that girl. And then that girl ended up being a fucking Nazi. So he puts out dick pics, and they didn't do anything to him. So, which they really shouldn't have, because I think if it was like a sex tape or, well, maybe not a sex tape because they didn't do anything to Paige or Xavier Woods. But I don't know. I don't think they'll do anything to Ricochet. I mean, maybe they'll talk to him about it, like, what the fuck is this? But at the end of the day, you can't really do anything about it. What can they do about it? Fire him or suspend him? If he was like fucking a kid in it, then that'd be a different story. They would fire his ass. But he was fucking himself. So, I don't think much of it. It'll blow over, But RIMSHOT, get it? Ricochet, rim, shot, huh? I'm playing. But again, I don't really think much of it. It'll die down in maybe 2 weeks, or maybe even after this week. Next match: Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. Kofi's going to win it. I have a feeling Kofi's going to pull off some big stunt. Maybe do an SOS off the top of the cage or something. There's no chance in hell they're giving it to Dolph. There just isn't. I think they're just putting Dolph in this program because they already got something to do with Roman. And I don't know if there's anyone else on SmackDown they want to give to Kofi, because they're not going to put Daniel back in the main event spot. I think Daniel's running with the title was maybe his last shot, being in the main event spot. So I don't know who else they'll give it to Kofi. I'm getting this feeling Brock might even come out and cash in his Money in the Bank. Because I have a feeling this is going to be back and forth, a lot of back and forth action. Kofi's going to barely win, and then Brock's going to come out and cash in his Money in the Bank. So I'm getting a sneaking suspicion that might happen, because again, they can't help themselves. They love Brock. They want to put a title on him. And also, the Fox deal, Fox wants big stars. Next match, Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin. The Universal Championship. Special guest referee to be determined. So who's going to be the special guest referee for Baron Corbin? Who is it? You know what? I don't give a fuck, because I don't give a fuck about this match. Seth Rollins is going to win. Baron Corbin, for whatever reason, they're still going to push him as something when he's nothing. End of story. Anyways, next match. Moving on. Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans for the Raw Women's Championship. Keep it on Becky. I love Becky, but Becky's kind of been a little stale lately. For whatever reason, they love giving her these cornball lines. She keeps calling people dopes and weirdos. I don't know. That doesn't seem like something a tough, badass, chick is supposed to do. So I don't know. And Lacey, I don't know if she loses this match. What else are they going to do with her? Because they really do love Lacey. And like I said, I don't hate Lacey. I just hate her gimmick. Hold on. But basically, if Lacey loses this match, which I'm pretty sure she will, what else is she going to do? What else are they going to do with her? Who else could they possibly feed her to? I don't know. But Becky's going to win this. Roman versus Drew McIntyre. I don't care. I really don't care. I honestly don't fucking care. Shane McMahon's more likely going to be a part of this match. Roman's going to win, so they can continue the Roman and Shane promo. What the fuck? Random car, alarm going out. But I don't give a fuck about this match. I don't. Roman's going to win. End of story. And then last match. Again, these aren't in order of which match is going to go on first or last. These are just in order on, Wikipedia. Bayley defending the Women's Championship, the SmackDown Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. I hope to God Bayley wins this. Just don't put another title on Alexa. I said it a while back. I'm fine with Alexa just being a character or being a personality on the show. Or, you know what? Just let Alexa be a manager. Like, have her go back to being a valet. Like, kind of like she was in NXT. She was, I know she was wrestling a bit, but she was also a valet for Buddy Murphy and is it Blake Wesley or Wesley Blake, that weirdo techno trap music team? Why don't you just have Alexa be a manager? Because she can talk, and she's fucking hot as shit. We're missing a lot of those because we haven't had a hot manager that can talk in a while since Lana. So I would say keep Alexa away from the wrestling ring. Don't have her wrestle ever. Just have her be a manager. It's just an opinion. So yeah, that's basically the Stomping Grounds review. Or not really a review, but a predictions contest. Am I looking forward to the show? No. Do I care about the show? No. Might as well call it WWE Replay. That's really all you gotta call it. Is just WWE Presents Replay. These are matches that you didn't really care about in the first place, but now we're gonna show them to you again because we have ran out of ideas. So it's basically the show in a nutshell. Will I watch it? Well, I'm going to have to because I'm sorry if I seem distracted. I just hear dogs on my front lawn. I'm making sure my cats are okay. So, that's enough of the wrestling talk. Okay, there was apparently a leak from someone named 4chan. I'm just going to read it as written. Although the channel has since deleted them, however, never fear, as parents constantly tell their children, once you post something on the internet, it's there forever. Fortunately, Marvel Studios Spoilers Reddit compiled a summary of all the leaks before they happen. So this is basically because, what's it called? Because, Marvel announced that they're going to show up to Hall H in I think next month. Dude, what the fuck? Some fucking random ass fucking car alarm keeps going off, and that's pissing me the fuck off. So these are apparently the leaks of new Marvel stuff that's gonna be announced at Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con. And these are just rumors. And I'm only telling you guys this, just take it with a grain of salt. These are just rumors, I'm just announcing it. Black Widow, Eternals, Black Panther 2, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange 2, Nova, and Guardians 3 are in active development, and there are plans for Thor 4, Ant-Man 3, Captain Marvel 2, New Avengers, Young Avengers, and Dark Avengers. Very interesting. There won't be another decade-spanning overarching storyline like the Infinity Saga, but there will be overarching mini-arcs spanning 3 to 6 films. Interesting. So basically, it's just they're just going to take their time with these. Okay. There will be a clear divide between grounded MCU and cosmic MCU going forward, each having their own core cast, specific tones, and overarching storylines. Norman Osborn will be the main antagonist of the grounded MCU and is expected to appear in several movies, provided Marvel and Sony renew their contract, which they should. It kind of seems like they're going to renew the contract. Chris Hemsworth has renewed his contract for several more Marvel movies, and we expect him to appear in both Guardians 3 and Thor 4. Yeah, he even said, I want to pretty much play Thor for a while. Chris Pratt also keep fucking out my words. What the fuck? Chris Pratt also has several movies left in his contract, and we expect him to continue, even though Guardians 3 will likely be the team's final appearance in the MCU. Spider-Man Far From Home Mysterio is from a parallel dimension, but is a criminal there and is controlling the elementals in order to masquerade as a hero and usurp Iron Man. Oscorp is revealed to have purchased Dark Tower. Yeah, that was the rumor that apparently that's going to be the post-credit scene that's going to set up the Sinister Six, and that it's going to show that the old Avengers Tower was bought by Oscorp. Black Widow, Florence Pugh, or Pugh, is introduced as Yelena Belova, the new Black Widow. That's the actress that played Paige in the Paige movie. She's also in another movie called Midsommar, which I want to see. That looks pretty fucking interesting. That might be something that's up John Draper's alley. Since he said he loves movies about cults. Shout out to John Draper. The Eternals, Richard Madden is playing the main character Icarus. The Eternals will be pivotal to the cosmic MCU. As you guys remember, Richard Madden played one of the Stark kids on Game of Thrones. He was killed in the Red Wedding. Black Panther 2, Killmonger will appear on the spiritual plane. The film will feature Queen Divine Justice and will be political. I have no idea who Queen Divine Justice is. I have to look that up after the show. Shang-Chi, the Mandarin, is rumored to be Shang-Chi's father, Donnie Yen, perhaps. Doctor Strange 2, Christine Palmer, Wong, Mordo, and the Ancient One will reappear in the MCU. Lord Nightmare will be the main villain. Mordo will be a complex, sympathetic antagonist like Loki. Clea and Brother Voodoo will appear. Asian actresses eyed for Clea. Parts of the movie will be set in the 180s. Damn. Guardians 3, the High Evolutionary will be the main villain and Rocket's creator. Rocket will fall in love with another of the High Evolutionary's experiments, Lila. Drax will find out that his daughter is still alive. Star-Lord and Nebula will become closer as they search for Gamora. Thor will be in the movie and meet Beta Ray Bill, who might be another one of High Evolutionary's experiments. Quasar and Adam Warlock are rumored to appear, and with Zac Efron reportedly eyed for Adam in the MCU. A lot of people aren't really too happy about the rumor for Zac Efron possibly playing Adam Warlock. Let's not forget Disney Plus leaks. Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Loki, and Hawkeye are in development for Disney Plus. But the characters will still feature in the movies. The X-Men and Fantastic Four will not appear until Phase 5. Loki, anthology chronicling how Loki shaped human historical events. That's interesting. I like the idea of Loki fucking with history. That would be super interesting to watch. Hawkeye has to come out of retirement again when troublemaker Kate Bishop begins running around, claiming to be the new Hawkeye. Gets into trouble with the mob, ends up training her to take his place. Supernatural mobster the Hood, and Hawkeye's evil brother Trickshot might appear. Interesting. Falcon and Winter Soldier. Falcon and Bucky have to work together with a new government-sanctioned Captain America to stop terrorists from destroying the United Nations. The new Cap eventually goes psycho, and they have to stop him. Seems like it'll lead to something becoming the new Cap after all. So basically, Sam's not going to be Captain America right away in the series. They're going to tease that because the government's going to create their own Captain America that they can control. That he ends up kind of being like a Winter Soldier, or he ends up being a fucking nutjob. Which, again, that'll be interesting. That'll be like watching another version of Winter Soldier, which Winter Soldier is my favorite MCU movie. And then lastly, WandaVision. Vision gets rebuilt. Wanda tries to give him the soul, and he instead gets possessed by a dark force. Allegedly, it's more of a psychological thriller with a 1950s aesthetic. Wanda and Vision end up living in the suburbs, where the neighborhood is racist against Wanda's homosexuality. The witch Agatha Harkness might appear. I don't know who that is, but it sounds interesting. There's a lot of info contained in these leaks. Again, absolutely none of it is confirmed. It'll be interesting as Kevin Feige starts to officially release their Phase 4 plans, how much of this ends up more than a rumor. So that's the supposed leaks that are possibly going to come out on, next month? For Hall H, when Marvel shows up. If it's true, again, the whole thing with Loki, where he apparently is going to be like changing historical events, that's something I want to see. Like that'd be interesting to see Loki fuck with history. Like, keep it in good taste though. Like, if it's something like he killed President Kennedy, which I'm pretty sure Disney's not going to do, but let's have an interesting take that, Loki was trying to save President Kennedy. Or, he caused certain catastrophes. Or he maybe even stopped history. Or, I don't know. They're more creative than me. I'm not very creative. The possible idea of the Bucky and Sam show, where the government makes their own Captain America, and then Sam has to eventually suit up his Cap to stop this psycho Cap. That's interesting. That's very, very fucking interesting. Like that's something I want to talk with Mish about. If I ever get Mish back on the show, or John Draper, like that's something I would love to talk to them about and see what they think about it. The Hawkeye show that he has, the Hawkeye show where he is training a new Hawkeye. That's interesting. That's something I want to see. I know. Apparently, I remember Aubrey Plaza actually, she released her own fan poster where she wanted to be Kate Bishop. That Aubrey Plaza is Kate Bishop. I mean, I think they might be going for a younger Hawkeye, or a younger Kate Bishop, or a younger actress. I don't know. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. I'm interested to see how these shows go. Regardless, I'm still gonna buy the damn network whenever it comes out. The WandaVision show. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure how it's gonna work out. I want to see it because I love Elizabeth Olsen. She's fucking hot. And also because Scarlet Witch is a badass. How she brings back Vision, because it says that he gets rebuilt. Like, who rebuilds him? Is it her, or is it somebody else? I don't know. Like, would Stark's company rebuild Vision? I don't, almost as a favor. Is I rebuild him. I built him in the first place, so I'm going to build him again. So there's that. So that's pretty much it. That's all the leaks. What is it? What's going on? There's also other news that I wanted to talk about. It's more just rumors. Let me go back on Twitter. What was in what came out in the news? Kevin Feige confirmed that him and Keanu Reeves have been talking. He said literally before any movie, I talked to Keanu Reeves because I want to bring him into the MCU. I just don't know which role I want to give him. I want to give him the right role, which makes sense. But what role could Keanu Reeves play? Because he said he wants to play Wolverine, but I doubt that will happen. He's older than Hugh Jackman. He's currently now older than Hugh Jackman, and I'm pretty sure they want to look for someone a little bit more younger. Even though, Wolverine doesn't age and Keanu Reeves doesn't seem to age. Some good roles for Keanu. Maybe a Silver Surfer. Silver Surfer seems like something that'd be perfect for him because he has the voice to be a Silver Surfer. He wouldn't really have to really do much. He would just have to do a lot of CGI work. Maybe it'd be Moon Knight. Moon Knight would be fucking dope. That would be dope. I fucking love Moon Knight. Hey, Marvel, make it happen. Make Keanu fucking Moon Knight. Black Bolt, because Black Bolt doesn't even talk. Make an Inhuman show that's actually good and watchable and doesn't fucking fall apart after one episode. I don't know. Keanu in the MCU, it would work. People would watch it. Who else can be? There's some other news I wanted to talk about. I'm slowly losing what the fuck I was about. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the show, because I honestly forgot what the hell I want to talk about, but that's all the news for the night. I've reached my maximum. It's already about to be an hour 15. Shout outs. Wrestling Soup. Every Thursday on Mixler. Make sure you go to the Patreon for just $5. You get everything. You get old You get episodes from Wrestling Soup's past. You can also listen to original new content, like Global Balding with John Draper, which I believe he's recording it. But and Side Saddle with John and Mish. And then you have the Don Tony Kevin's Castle show every Monday after Monday Night Raw on Mixlr. Make sure to go to their Patreon for just $5. You get breakfast soup with DT and Mish. You also get Kevin Castle, who has two shows out of his own. You get Castle Chronicles, which is a solo show. Then you have Dark Chronicles with him and another good friend of the show, Trez. But yeah, for just $5, you can even sign up for as low as $2 with DTKC. And also, you can get connected to their Discord channel. Texas Podcast Massacre. If you're a fan of horror movies, if you love horror movies, even bad ones, these guys review them all. They make them super fucking interesting. It's almost like reviewing a horror movie with your best friend. Like, that's the vibe you get from these guys. They make it entertaining. They make it genuine and unique. And I was on twice, so I'm not biased. But I love those guys, Mitch, Nate, and Lisa. They just put out a new episode. I'm forgetting what the movie was. Let me look it up real quick. Critters. Critters. It's great. Support them. You can find them anywhere podcasts are distributed. Tyler, the trademark. I feel weird because I don't know if it's Tyler or Tyler. I never asked him. I don't even think he gives a shit what I call him, just as long as I pronounce it in some way that's right. But yeah, Tyler, good dude, another good friend of the show. He has his own podcast, which you can find anywhere. He also has another podcast with Julian, the French guy, called the Hipster City Podcast. I believe they're on hiatus at the moment. I'm not 100% sure, but check out Tyler's podcast. It's very good. Peter Position with my good friend Peter. I was there. I was on the show reviewing WrestleMania, and reviewed it. We were on for about close to an hour because I remember he wanted to just talk for maybe like 15, 20 minutes, or maybe even shorter than that, but it ended up being like 40-something. And I even told him, there's no way you can have me on this show and expect me to talk about wrestling for 15 minutes. Or just 15 minutes, because I will go on longer than that. But yeah, Peter's a good friend of mine. Support his podcast. You can find it on Spotify. And pretty much anywhere podcasts are distributed. He also has a music podcast with a friend of his called Bops and Bangers. Listen to that. If you're a fan of music, listen to that. He also has a website called Bops and Bangers, which has been around for over a year. Peter's he's a hard-working dude. He loves music. He's a blog writer. I think he won an award, if I'm not mistaken. He's a hard-working dude. He knows his shit about music. B. Show Brian, another good friend of the show. You can hear him on Spreaker, I believe. Joined the Spreaker family not too long ago, so check him out. Julian from the Wrestling Court, another good friend of the show. Good dude. The guy is living life because anytime you look on his social media, he's always at a Comic-Con. He's at a press junket. I think he also did a red carpet for like the Superman animated movie. Like, the guy hasn't made. He's a good dude. Doesn't have a bad bone in his body. He's very funny. Knows his shit. I love him. I'd love to have him on the show. I'd love to have him on the show. I also love to be on the show. There's a lot of podcasts I would love to be on. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Architect Podcast with Derek and Irvin. They were on my show where we reviewed Endgame. That was a lot of fun. Talked for over 2 hours. Their podcast you can find anywhere. They're kind of similar to mine. They review a lot of the nerdy shit. They do movie reviews at times. So check them out. They're good friends of the show. And Ruben Prime TV. Find his podcast on Spotify. Another good dude. I think he's been around longer than me, if I'm not mistaken. A good dude, friend of the show. Check his podcast out. Check everybody out. Check everybody's podcast out. Give everyone's podcast a listen. Check everybody out. I recommend everybody's podcast. So with that being said, I'm not sure if I'm going to record next Wednesday. I might even just record on Tuesday and just release the episode on Wednesday, because next Wednesday will be me and my girlfriend's anniversary, or 7th anniversary. So we're going to be gone for most of the day because we have a big day planned. So I don't think I'm going to record Wednesday. There's still going to be an episode. It's just not going to be on Wednesday. I'm probably just going to record on Tuesday and just maybe release it on Wednesday. So, anyways, take care, guys. Thank you for supporting the show, and have yourselves a good night. And if you're in Texas, stay hydrated and stay cool. Stay indoors, turn the AC up, and don't fucking melt. And make sure you let your pets in. If you guys have pets, especially if you're living in the South, specifically Texas, if you have pets, please make sure you keep them inside, during the day. Maybe let them outside maybe around like 7 or 8 when it starts to cool down. But don't keep them inside. Don't keep them outside all day, especially when it's blistering hot. There have been news reports about animals getting heat stroke, or like I mentioned earlier, that it's apparently so hot outside that animals are actually burning their paws on the sidewalk. So again, if you have pets, please make sure you keep them inside and keep them hydrated. With that being said, take care, guys.